Okay guys, for somehow I'm gonna try to explain everything in this little video of some of the tools, the basic stuff I use that I'm gonna be using in this thing. Here we got my Sandblaster. I bought it from Snap-on, but you can buy a Harbor Freight, I believe. And for the media that I use, it's just fine glass that I use. Seems to work pretty good. Black Beauty is a little big to go through that gun. Sometimes it can get clogged up. So that's what I use there. For spot weld drilling, I use the 1/8 inch double-sided bits. For drilling the spot welds, here is the Arbor Kits from Blair, which comes in 3 pieces. You have the actual arbor, the drill bits, and the pins if one breaks. And the way this thing works is on the end of this arbor, it's threaded, and the pin goes inside, then the spring, then there's a set screw that goes in the top to set all that up. Hope you can see that. So all this stuff goes inside the arbor if you break this pin, so you can get it out. Another drill bit to drill out spot welds is this one right here, but once it gets dull, it's hard to sharpen it, and it's like $1,000 for the bit sharpener. So I don't even use those anymore. Let's see what else. Cutoff wheels. I use the 4-inch Cibertron, and I use the really thin ones. So here's the part number, and I use the thin ones because it does a great job in cutting and not so much grinding, but it does cut. And to use that on your cutoff wheel, you need to get this arbor. I got that at Napa. No big deal, fits right in. Let's see, the panel popper. I got this is Steck. I think the part number's gone because that thing's wore out so much. And my favorite parts are my Snap-on hammers. I've had these things for years. I don't know if you can see the part number on these. No, maybe not. But anyway, it's a pick hammer. And the other one's got a flare on it with a flat end. This one's my favorite one. I tried to get some more for my home build, but the Snap-on dealer said they're not available anymore. He can't get them. So I ended up buying a handle, which he had, so I actually using one that was broke. Then I used my heel dolly for hammering dollying metal, and a toe dolly. That's those. Remember I showed you the belt sander? So that's that with the belts. And here's the part number that I use for those. Anybody makes them. Norton makes them. My supplier just has the 3M ones. And then I use the roll-lock discs for grinding and stuff like that, for minor grinding. You need an adapter like this to go into an angle grinder, which is threaded on the end to fit the threads on the end of this thing. And I use a lot of Norton stuff, so there's the part number for that, for the Norton 3-inch 36 grit. And of course the self-tappers. There's a surplus store next to us, 2 pounds for $2. So I got more than enough screws. Oh, and one last thing, couple things. One, nobody likes the air hammer, but the best chisel I found to work is this one right here, which is, because it's notched out. It's called a muffler cutter. And we all hate to use weld-through primer, but you need it. And I've tried so many different types of weld-through primers, and they all seem to spatter and stuff. And this U-bow, I've just been using it for a couple of months. You let it set up, and this stuff welds right through like there's nothing there. So there's that one. Yeah, so that's it for now to get everything cutting and stuff. And I'm going to be shutting this part down, and I'm just fitting up my frame rails. And one last thing about this weld-through primer. If you're using it in a spot where you're going to seam seal, you cannot seam seal over this weld through primer because it's zinc based, and the seam sealer will not stick to it. It'll just peel off, and you'll have a water leak. So just remember that. You have to wash it off with lacquer thinner, or just grind it off, or wipe it down so there's nothing there. So your seam sealer will stick to the bare metal. All right, I'm gonna start fitting the rest of that stuff. See you in the next video.